Yeah, I'm just like, okay. So, therefore, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, would you please welcome my hero, the one and only Dr.
Very good evening, ISB. How's everybody doing? Come on. What a great church.
Yeah, man.
Steve, you are wrong. I can speak in thousands and stadiums, but I tell you this, I've learned one thing about the ministry. It's all about the one.
Yeah.
Jesus left the 99 in the wilderness to go after the one. And I'm willing to leave my church of whatever thousand and just come here this weekend for you guys. If there's one, and I love what just now, was it Kelly, the one, and then who said about the one, there could be just one, and that's all that matters, that one. Based on that, right, I mean, this is my, would you believe it, this is my 38th year in the full-time ministry. I was 21-year-old nobody that started a church. Sometimes I think back, what rubbish did I preach when I was 21 years old? Really, I mean, the heresies that have been coming from my mouth. But people get saved, people get touched. I was just thinking about how that there was one, the church that I pioneered 38 years ago was a church called Banting. It's a small little town somewhere about maybe 3 hours away from Kuala Lumpur, that even if you ask today some of the Malaysians, have you been to Banting?
No.
You don't even know where is that place, because nobody goes there. And somehow after graduation from Bible school, I was left there to pioneer the work. You know how many people I had? I had 15 Tamil speaking Indians. So I became an Indian pastor. And ladies and gentlemen, you look at me, you know that I'm not Indian. My wife is half Indian, but I am not. And I was there, thank God, I had an amazing interpreter. And he was there, and we did the work of God together. And when I was there, I still remember, I said, God, why the world you bring me to this place? Pastor Steve, you're in Bali, for goodness sake.
Amen.
Good place.
I was in Banting, same B, but in one traffic light in the whole town. And I thought I was going to change the world when I came to Bible school. I was from a non-Christian family. When I got saved at the age of 40, then when I went to Bible school at 21, I was this close to being kicked out of the family. This close. Mom and dad already passed away, but my mom, my brother, they were thinking, what's wrong with our son? What's wrong with our brother? He's so serious with God. For one thing about Chris Long, I know nothing. It's either all for God or nothing at all. That's it. I've got no time for the in-betweens. It's going to be all for Jesus, or I'm going to forget about it and serve the other side. So my parents, my mom, especially my brother, was freaking out when I went to Bible school. This close to being kicked out of the family. I went to Banting, right? I was thinking to myself, why in the world am I even here? I thought I was supposed to change the world. Brother, come on. We want to change the world for Jesus, right? Amen. I wanted to turn Malaysia upside down. In my 2 years in Banting was turning me upside down. I'm not kidding. But 2 weeks later, thank God, 2 school teachers came for the first time to a Tamil speaking church. And they're Chinese. But somehow they were transferred to this small little town from Penang, which is a huge city, and one from the north, another place called Alosa, and they were looking for a church, and they didn't, because that town was so small that it was all the old school traditional church, and there was nothing that was English speaking with bilingual. So I spoke in English with my translator, and they came and they sat there in the service. One of them came the first time. Her name is Angela. She came, and I thought she would come, and she's not going to come again. Come on. You're a lady in your mid-20s, you're coming to a church, you see like 15 Indian people, and this young Chinese punk of a pastor. You're not going to come. And she stayed on. She became my Sunday school superintendent. It's such a word for her. Superintendent with 10 kids, right? We give all kinds of names. Names are free. We just give them. Superintendent. And she ran the Sunday school, and she started reaching out to so many people. But she was from a non-Christian family. She was also persecuted. I mean, it's a different story. They started bringing a lot of teachers. In 2 years' time, we managed to start our English service by faith. We had 8 people in our first service. The demo church grew, 30 people. By the time when I left in 2008 and moved to Kuala Lumpur, the church had 400 people. We had our own building, 1 acre land on the main road. When I started in 1983 in Banting, once I was young, my dad's money, right? Took the money and I bought a Honda Accord 2-door Sports with a turbo engine. It's crazy. I drove into town. Banting, nobody drives that kind of a car. And I was there, not as a businessman, I was there being a pastor. I was also a youth pastor at the same time. Youth pastors, we do crazy things all the time. God still loves us and uses us, right? And I remember I was there and would pick up all the people in the poorer side of the town, bring them into my car and things like that, right? I remember I also brought my electric guitar, drum set, and the churches in the whole the town, they were so small, conservative, started warning the young people, don't go to this young Chinese man's church. It is a cult. He's got drums. Those days drums were He's got electric guitar, and look at his car. He's going to be a cult. Because pastors, we drive nice Nissan, nice Datsun. We don't drive a Honda. I was crazy. Would you know? When I left the church, right, finally I moved on to Kuala Lumpur. Would you believe it? My church had 400 people. My last 5 years, I was elected to be the chairman of the Pastors Fellowship in Pulau Banting. How do you think that's a promotion from a cult leader to a chairman? Pastors Fellowship. But the most amazing thing happened just a week ago. I'm saying this with a bit of emotion. Because I was preaching one of our very new Kingdom City. I'm from Kingdom City. For one of our latest city that we just planted in Johor Bahru. Johor Bahru is just beside Singapore. Just started. 2 months we have 120 people. I was there and there was a good looking guitarist, a young man was there playing the guitar. And after the service, it was a great service, about 5 decisions, not too bad, 5 salvations. This young man came up to me and looked at me and said, Pastor Chris, I'm Josh. Hey Josh, good to see you, buddy. And said, Pastor, do you know me? I'm like, do you know it's so difficult when we minister to thousands and they come up to you, Pastor, do you remember me? I'm like, am I going to lie? I'm going to say that I know you not, depart from me. I'm not going to tell you that. I look at him and say, would you help me? I said, Pastor Grace, my mom is Angela. I'm like, I'm talking with goosebumps. I said, what? Angela T. I go, oh my, your mom was my first English-speaking church member 35 years ago. I said, that's my mom. I said, I remember your mom got married to a pastor, right? Yeah, my dad passed away recently. My mom is pastoring the church right now. I was hearing all this and I'm like, God, the one. Just one. And right now he's working as a research with our oil and gas company and he's there. He drives 2 hours to come for our church in Johor Bahru. He just got married recently. And I hugged him, I told him stories about his mom, about his dad, how they met. He was like, man, my dad never told me such things. I said, fathers never tell you embarrassing things, of course. So I exposed everything, he was like, awesome, I'm going to go back and tell my mom. I said, please do, take a selfie, send to the mom. The mother WhatsApp me later and said, oh Pastor, thank you so much. My son is in your church. He's like, I can't believe it, Pastor. My son is 32 years old and he's in your church. I was in your church. And we are like, hey man, generation. Can somebody say amen? We talk about the thousands. No, not one. To the ISB this weekend, if God can just get hold of a one. Just one heart. Jesus left the 99 to go after the one. Some of you wondering, that's what the 2 prayer warriors prayed over you. You think what the work that you're doing here? God must have a purpose for you to be here. Sorry. God knows you, He loves you, He has a great plan for your life. You could be the one. Somebody say amen? Amen. On the other hand, some of you have no idea what I'm talking about because of my English. In Malaysia, we call it Manglish. If you don't understand what I'm saying, what you're going to do is this. When I'm preaching, just put up your hand and you wave at me and I'll most likely ignore you. Let's go right to the word. Pastor Steve, I have about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Right, cool. would you give me a signal? Because in Kingdom City back home, you see at the back there? You see that? Kingdom City have a timer at the back for me when I start preaching. You know why? My surname is long. Okay, let's go. So, if you have no timer, I have no idea. So let's give it a try. I want to talk about building an unshakable life. I've been a Christian for 44 years. I turn 59 in a few months' time. I'll be 60 next year. When our Christmas dinner with the family, I'm married to an incredible woman for 30 years. She's also a pastor, just came on board. She's amazing. I've got 3 big children. Eldest son just got married. Not ready to be a grandpa yet, but my 2 girls are beautiful. One has already completed a university, coming to our Kingdom City Bible School in 2 weeks' time. My youngest one completed Bible School, Kingdom City, amazing. And the youngest one is always the baby. She's the one, whenever we get together, we always talk about what goes on. And the 2 others say, you are the one that never gets scolding from dad. You never get any beating from dad. We get it all. By the time you were born, dad was already tired of beating us. she's so cute, Deborah. And she's there, she's the only one dad to look at me while we're having our dinner. Christmas. Dad, you are old. Steve, come on. Dad, you are old, right? So what do you mean? Dad, you'll be 60. I said, Dad, I'll only be 60 in 1.5 years. But Dad, you are really old. She's the only one to get away with it. The other 2 wouldn't even dare to say that to Dad. I look at her and say, yes and no. Because you know, the age is, we all know it's just a number, come on. Yeah. It's got to do with the heart. Yeah. I mean, compare with Caleb in the Bible, not this good looking Caleb here. Caleb was 88 years old. When the younger generation refused to possess the land, he said, let me take Hebron. Nobody wants the giants in the mountain, I'll take it. And Chris, I'll be 16 next year. I'm still taking territories for God. I'm not about to retire, my friend. Yeah. And some of you about my age or even younger, older. Some of you thought really, I've done my church stay 20 years as a, deacon, elder, what other titles? Treasurer, secretary, superintendent. I'm done. We are never done. And I pray that today, you could be the one that God is looking at to continue on. Not just to win a soul, but to leave some legacy. Can somebody say amen? I want to talk about building an unshakable life. Building an unshakable life. Let's go right to the scripture, Hebrews chapter 12. So that the unshakable essentials stand clear and uncluttered. So many of our lives, maybe some of you have been brought up and you are being religious. Thank God for the upbringing. Faith is essential. Religion is essential. A belief in God is essential. But sometimes it is historical, religious junk, and it has held you back in your destiny. It has removed even your dignity because of your background. And I'm never saying that what you have gone through is bad, but I believe that God could be shaking you to bring out that which is the best in you. Amen. Let's move on a bit. What else is it? Do you see what we got, guys? Sorry, I'm throwing the guys, it's not there. Do you see what we've got? I'm afraid that some religious people will say, Pastor Chris, the Bible says you add it to the word of God. You better be wrong. No, sorry, never. This is a great church. Somebody say amen? Amen. We have got an unshakable kingdom. No matter how many shaking we go through, what the enemy brings against us as a church. When I say the church, I don't mean our denomination. Yeah. How many of you know that the church is not the building? This belongs to what? Right. What's this? What's the name of this? The trash. Yeah, what's that? The denomination. No, it's a trash, right? The trash, whatever. The trash. It's not our church. You're like, what? This is a building that we use. You are the church. Yeah. Yes. You are the one that's unshakable. That's right. You are the one that's supposed to stand strong. Yeah. You don't go to church, you are the church. Yeah. If you ever somebody in our church, our Kingdom City, we got about 9,000 people back home. Some of them say, Pastor, the church is boring. I say, you are the church, you are boring. The church is so generous. Are you giving? You are the church. They're like, oh my. When ISB grows, you have to move out of this place. Right. Why is this so soft suddenly? I get it. You have to move out, and this you don't move the church, you just move building. Oh, church service is over. You got it right. Service is over. You, the church, is never over.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
Church is never
And do you see how thankful we must be? Not only thankful, but brimming with worship, deeply reverent before God. Is there one more thing at the end there? For God, I love this. For God is not an indifferent bystander. How many people we talk to, my wife and I, we counsel, they think that God is messing up their life. That they are this because, God doesn't care. He's not an indifferent bystander. I love this. Imlek is around the corner, right? Chinese New Year. Anyone celebrate Chinese New Year? Okay. How many of you all just celebrate because it's a holiday? Come on. How many? Caleb, you still eat ang paos? The red packet? You are not a Chinese? You look like one? Pastor Steve will give you one. It's 1,000 rupiah. Come on, 1,000. But you know what? In Malaysia, Chinese New Year, I remember my time when I was growing up in the Chinese family. Chinese New Year, it's only, I live in a nice big bungalow, about 7 rooms those days. I remember how it was only about once a year that Mom would get all of us to clean our house before Chinese New Year. You know what it says? Clean up all the bad luck. You don't enter Chinese New Year, Lunar New Year, Imlek with all the junk of old. I remember just once a year, we will go through all our cupboard and all our clothes and we just get rid of everything just once a year, house cleaning. But you know what God is doing? He's actively cleaning house, torching all that needs to burn. You know the song about the reckless love of God? That persistent, relentless love of God. And He won't quit until it's all cleansed. That's why what God is doing in your life, He's doing it. I've learned one thing about my God, right? I better surrender to Him. When you fight God, you lose. Hallelujah. And when you lose, you win. You follow me? It's just like arguing with our wives. Hallelujah. We win, we lose. We better lose so that we will win. For God Himself is a consuming fire. Let's move on. The word shake in Greek, it is interesting enough. Doesn't sound like a positive word, but it means this. It means to vibrate, to agitate, to unsettle, to make insecure, to cause commotion. That's the meaning of shake. I wonder how many of you are feeling that shaking in your life? Shaking. 2009, I think I did the IES scan. 2010, I got sick very badly. Overeating, I was overweight. I got all the sickness that you can name. After my last mission trip in the year, I was in Thailand, ministered. 800 people, not air conditioning, it was in the field somewhere. I was exhausted. I still went out for supper. I still went and ate the meals. Still drank my Coca-Cola and all the soda without wondering about the sugar level. You know why? Because God will take care of me. Am I correct? I'm a servant of God. Come on. Don't you declare no weapon formed against me will prosper? I'm a servant of God. I declare that I was wheeled out of the aeroplane. My eldest daughter was with me. She was about 12 years old at the time. Went to see the doctor. He said, but my blood pressure, 210 over 180. So you can drop it. He asked me to go straight to the hospital. I said, no, I've got to see my wife first. I went to see my wife. She said, rested, prayed. Sugar level was like, I'm not sure what it was. Cholesterol, everything. And I was just not even 50 years old. Barely 50 years old. I was getting all this kind of sickness. What a shaking in my life. I remember the doctor said, Pastor, continue on if you want to go back home to heaven early. Or else change your lifestyle. Or it's going to be shortcut. What a shaking. I was shocked, insecure. I cut down my ministry. It was difficult. I lost 12 to 15 kilos. Just worked at it, cut down sugar, cut down all the carbs and everything. I mean, it was tough. I'm a Chinese man from Malaysia. I eat rice all the time. But at first lunch, dinner, supper, and then suffer. Come get away. Come on, you're Malaysian. Nasi lemak, come on.
Yes.
Bak kut teh, come on. Come on. How do you bakuti without tambah nasi, yeah?
I had it last night.
You had it the last night?
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Last night.
Last night.
With durian.
Durian. Anyway, it's all right. But you know, the shaking that came upon me, I had to rethink my whole life. I want to see my kids growing up. I want to serve God for the rest of my life. And thank God for the whole shaking thing in my life, my health. It got me on the right track. I'm 59, I don't feel 59. I hope I don't look a day older than 58. but I want to serve God for the rest of my life. It got me another 20, 30 more years. I always joke with all the Singaporean Chinese. I'm happy if I live up to 88 years old. Because Chinese love the 88 number. They're very prosperous. Number 88. But the truth of the matter, sometimes shaking our life is good. Especially how we respond. In the Old Testament, there were two mountains. That's what the story is about. There were two mountains. One mountain is called Mount Sinai or Mount Sinai. And the other one is Mount Zion. And the Hebrew writer was saying that at Mount Sinai there was a shaking. But it was a shaking out of judgment, fear. The people literally, when Moses was up at Mount Sinai, they were telling Moses, don't come near us. You go alone by yourself. Get some revelation from God. We want to stand afar. They were on the mountain, but they were in a mountain of judgment. It was a mountain of law. It was a mountain of punishment. When they think of God, they think of God as if He's an angry God all the time. Do you know, I'm not saying, I don't believe that any Christian should live in a valley. I don't believe those nonsense are always sometimes up in the valley, down the mountain. It's not a roller coaster. I believe all of us are on the mountaintop. Can somebody say amen? It's either whether you're on Mount Sinai, where there is judgment, fear, or you're on Mount Zion. The Bible says Mount Zion, joyful assembly of saints, where there is grace, where there is reward, where you know that God is good. One of the songs that we love to sing in church is a song that says, you are a good, good Father. It's who you are, who you are, who you are, and I'm loved by you. Who I am. Who I am. And I've learned one thing in all the years. And sometimes it takes such a long way for me to learn. After 44 years following Jesus, that our Bible, I'll show you my iPad, the Bible that you hold, it's not about behavior. It's not a book of behavior. Book of behavior is Mount Sinai. You pray, God loves you. You give, God bless you. What else? You fast, God answers your prayer. You come to church early, God send an extra angel beside you. Whatever you think about, and if you are bad, God leaves you. It's not a book of behavior. If you have, the Bible is a book of behavior, you will always be on the mountain, but Mount Sinai. You will think that God is a God of judgment, a God that wants to punish you. God is waiting to what you call it, humble you. But when you're on Mount Zion, you discover that God is a God of love, mercy, grace, reward. There is peace, there is joy, there is joyful assembly of the saints. The Bible is not a book of behavior. The Bible is a book of identity.
Wow. Yes.
Come on. You know who God is, your creator, and you know who you are. He's a good, good Father.
It's who you are.
Yeah. And I'm loved by you.
Who I am.
So I've got 4 different mostly out of tune, yeah, but you know what? Good Father. Some of you in Mount Sinai for too long. That's where the religious junk is. That's where the judgment is. It's time to move away and come over here to Mount Zion, Mount Sion. That's the right place to live. And if God is shaking you, is bringing you from Mount Sinai or Sinai to Mount Zion and Mount Sion. Someone say amen? Amen. Are you still with me? Someone say amen? Amen. Anybody falling asleep say amen? No. Sometimes we Pentecostals just say amen for everything. I remember one time I was preaching in Cebu in Philippines, right? Everybody was excited, and I saw the youth pastor was not paying attention. It was whatever on the Facebook, right? Something like that, whatever it was. So I was talking about testimony, how I want somebody, I was there, and the wild dog chased after me, and I was nearly beaten by the wild dog. nearly beat me. The guy said, amen, amen.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey man! He's like, yeah, what's that? What did I say amen to? I said, you say amen to me being bitten by a dog. Oh. I thought you said, Pastor, you are eating a dog. I said, yeah, you pastors just know how to. I thought you said you are eating dog in Cebu, so I said amen. Amen? An unshakable life, number one, is built on Christ, the only firm foundation. It was John Wesley, the Methodist founder, who said, Christ is made our sure foundation. Luke chapter 6, verse 48, Jesus says, he is like a man building a house who dug and went down deep and laid a foundation upon the rock. And when the flood arose, the torrent broke against that house and could not shake or move it because it had been securely built or founded on a rock. Friends, there's only one foundation that is unshakable. And that is Jesus. Somebody say amen. Amen. Allow me to share with you the testimony of my family. Non-Christian family. 14 years old, I became a Christian. Then slowly I managed to reach out to my family. Mom was a tough nut to crack. Eldest brother was even worse. But mom suffered from cancer. She was only 54 years old. In the month of March. We find that March 1989, she was sick so often. Finally, we insisted that she go and see a specialist. Doctor called us into the office and said, your mom got 4-stage pancreatic cancer. The most we gave her is 3 months to 6 months to live. Let her have a good life. Let her enjoy herself. I was a bit worried because my mom was not a believer yet. Hasn't known Jesus. She was telling me many times, I'm a good friend with my mom. My mom used to tell me, it's all right, I'm so old. I said, Mom, you're only 54 years old, you're not old. I'm already old, I've already got all this tradition, I'm not going to, I'm not going to leave it. I know your God is good, your Jesus is good. I said, how he changed you, change your sister. No, I like your pastor. Isn't it nice that our mothers like our pastor? Let me say it, man, I tried. And she said, but it's not for me. I told Mom, you need Jesus, you need Jesus. But she said, no. I remember how my mom, right, how cheeky she was, right, even how when she was even in the hospital, right, she don't want to hear you telling about the gospel. But my mom said, I don't mind if you bring people to sing me gospel songs. I don't hear preaching. She's like, sing. Well, my mom loves to sing, right? And she's Chinese Mandarin speaking. So we got one lady, I still honor her today. She went every other day to visit my mom, prayed with her. But you know what, when this was going on, I was prayed. And I got a word from the Lord. And the word was, you're going to see a miracle. And that miracle will get your family safe. And I tell you with all my excitement, I start telling my church at Bunting, by then about 100 people. I said, God revealed to me. He's going to give me a miracle, a breakthrough. Mom is going to get healed and the cancer will disappear. Actually, God never told me anything like that. Only say you're going to get a miracle. But I thought that was it. That was the way to bring my brother, my sister, and bring them to the Lord, because this miracle will prove that my Jesus is real. I was so excited. But you know what? Mom's condition got worse and worse. But the great thing is this. One of the evenings when I was there, and this precious lady, I think it's Hui Yin, she actually visited my mom. She ran down the excitement from the top floor. She was walking around. She said, Pastor, your mom said the sinner's prayer. Come on.
All right.
She said yes to Jesus. I went up there and said, Mom, are you for real? Yes. I said, Mom, God's going to heal you. When I was like that. We did. God's going to heal you. God told me that you're going to get a miracle. My mom was just smiling. It's like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, no, God said he's going to get a miracle. My wife and I got married in September 23rd. Mom came to the wedding really pumped with morphines. Really. After that, doctor says, can you have one more operation? It might help to lengthen the life. And I thought that could be the miracle. It was expensive. My brother and I came with the money. Let's do it. Mom went for the operation and she went to a coma almost immediately. We went to Australia for our honeymoon. We came back. And I was thinking to myself, Mom's in a coma. Cool. The miracle will even be greater. I'm talking about, I really believe it's going to be even greater. Early November, Mom was staying in the house. We had a nurse looking after her. She was already in a coma. Knocked on the door, Mr. Long. Said, your mom had passed on. I shock of my life. I had to call up all my brothers and arrange for my funeral. But you know what I was thinking about? God, you promised me a miracle. I told my church about it, Steve. Unlike your church that is so gracious, my church in Patti wasn't really that gracious. They actually expect the pastor word to be, concrete and solid. And I'm like, I'm going to be embarrassed. I thought everybody's going to be a miracle. Mom's going to get healed. And I look up to God and say, God, what's going on? What's going on? Did I hear wrongly? I heard you say, son, I will give you a miracle. I said, God, my mom is gone. And then the other extreme, are you going to raise her from the dead? Sometimes you kind of believe them. What's going to happen? That will be even a greater miracle in the community when mom is being raised from the dead. All things comes to my mind. I said, God, I was more concerned about my embarrassment. Wow. I'm going to be embarrassed, man. My non-Christian brother said, you talk about miracle, where is it now? I was thinking what to do, but all I knew was this, I'm going to be strong because I'm a pastor of the family. I called my brother and sister, says, Mom, I'm pastor. We did the 3 nights funeral, Christian funeral. I was totally shattered in my faith, shaken. Didn't know what was going on. Fast forward, the miracle actually happened.
Yeah.
The 3rd night after the funeral, wake service was over. My eldest brother, who's like not an atheist, right? He just doesn't believe in God, make fun of God. He just, doesn't believe you're going to make fun of something you cannot believe, right? But he speaks against something that he doesn't believe exists. I'm not sure how he knows. But he's just against God, against church, against me being a pastor, make fun of me. He used to ask me, when are you going to do some real work? Yeah, pastor, when are you going to do some real work? Are you still living off people's offerings? My brother is, he's a businessman, so he really put me down. When I want to go Bible school, I inform him. And he looked at me and said, you're a failure. You're a failure. You can't make it in the world, so you go and become a pastor, right? I wanted to smack him with the love of Jesus. He just couldn't, because I just would never understand. I told him that's my choice. Then he looked at me, he actually told me, he said, you are a disgrace to the Long family. Man, that hurt me, man. I remember riding my motorbike, not in Bali, but where I was staying, and I prayed to God. Oh, by the way, when you ride the motorbike, when you pray, please don't lift up your hands. Amen. Don't close your eyes either. And I said, God, you've got to do something. If I preach the gospel, God will save my family. But that time it was so dark, I had no idea where I would go forward from there. But the 3rd night after the funeral, my brother, who's not a Christian, but nobody knows, he's put on such a strong front. My sister-in-law later told me, only one thing my brother is afraid of, death. But he's put on such a strong front. My eldest brother is also, he's also an Elvis Presley tribute artist. Don't call him an impersonator. He gets mad. Tribute artist. He's also the president of the Elvis Presley fan club of Malaysia. He took part in the whatever Elvis festival in Tokyo. He came up with the best sound alike. He couldn't look alike. No 5'5" Chinese man who looked like Elvis. He loved Elvis, but not Elvis died at 42. My brother was 40. At the funeral, after that, he was telling his wife, my sister-in-law, when I die, I want to have a funeral like Mom. I remember that funeral. That was cacophony. That was horrible. 7 days of noise and fear, and it was not a Christian funeral. But Mom's one is amazing. 3 nights. And he sang all the songs I knew. But I could sing all the songs. Yeah. Elvis only sang one song, gospel song, and he cries in his concert. How great thou art. That's the only song he sang with tears. Elvis. And my brother was singing, I'm like, I knew all the songs. And he says that when I die, I want to have this kind of funeral like Mom. Not my sister-in-law, non-Christian, prophetically look at him and says, you cannot. Brother's like, why not? You are not a Christian. Oh. And he started. Amazing. 2 weeks later, Reinhard Baum came. Came to Stadium Merdeka, our football stadium. I invited him, and I told him, those days I was a good singer. I was singing one of the vocalists of the night. I told him, I'm singing on a Tuesday night. You want to come and hear me sing? Typical brother, elder brother. Huh? I I can sing better than you. But my younger sister married an incredible Christian man. They're both leaders in their church now. Incredibly successful, rich businessman, generous, loves the Lord. He told my brother, why don't you come? And then after that, we'll take you go and eat the best curry fish shake in the whole of Kuala Lumpur. That's the way to reach out to the gospel to some people. The gospel plus our food. My brother said, okay, that night in Ranabong Cake Crusade in November 1989, my brother walked down the stairs with my sister-in-law and plus the little boy and gave their heart to Jesus, my friend. I was there, saw them in front. You know what the Lord says? Son, that's your miracle. I said, God, why you never tell me properly? Typical language. Say lah, this way. Don't tell me miracle and then leave me half hanging. I thought it was my mom's. And guess what? Mom got saved.
Yeah.
Brother got saved. Elder sister flew back a week later because she couldn't come, but she came for memorial service. At the grave of my mom, my eldest brother witnessed to my elder sister and she gave her heart to the Lord. Whole family became Christian.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, you talk about a miracle.
Yeah.
As I look back, I was embarrassed that I didn't question God. Because His ways are higher than our ways.
Yeah.
His thoughts are higher than our thoughts.
Yeah.
But you know what? 5 years later, my eldest brother used his Elvis Presley anointing and started a ministry singing at dinners and concerts, evangelistic meeting, businessmen's meeting. He released 14 CDs, albums of Elvis songs, both gospel and also Elvis pop songs. Sometimes I play my brother's CD just to hear, I'm like, oh, I want that. That's my brother. My brother went into full-time ministry.
Amen.
Not only that, would you believe it? That's the best. He knew that one thing we were, one thing we were. Yeah, 100 people. He and my sister-in-law and the son decided to come and be our church member. Brought their finance, brought their resources, and the eldest brother who looked at me and called me a failure became my church member. Friends, I became his pastor. How awesome is that? Oh, I can go on with so many stories, but you know me, I'm an evangelist. And then the best time was when my eldest son, Nathan, and his cousin, Aaron, my brother's son is Aaron. You know what Aaron? Elvis Aaron Presley, that's his middle name. My brother is embarrassed to call his son Elvis Long or Presley Long, so give Aaron Long. And it's a biblical name, come on. So I baptized both of them. I still remember doing the baptism class with Aaron personally. I said, Aaron, you know what your dad did to me when I was in Bible school? He said, I understand, Uncle. No, the things that he said about our church, yes, I remember. He confessed to me even. And I put on a very serious, reverent face. Because of the sins of your father. You all get it, ISB get it, right? But he was like, because of the sins of your father. When I baptize you, I'll put you in the water a little bit longer. Because the sins have to be removed. She was at first, Uncle, are you for real? I said, yes. How do you go about it? I said, other people in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Yours be in the name of the Father. And then he started bursting out into laughter. So Uncle, you're kidding yourself. Of course I am. And give him a high five. When I baptized my son and my nephew, I get goosebumps thinking about it. That's another miracle. You know why? Miracles beget more miracles.
Yeah.
Some of you will get the first miracle today.
Wow.
And you will have more, that seed, right?
Yeah.
Will have more miracles. Unshakable is built on a firm foundation.
Yeah.
Nobody has signaled to me my time yet. Number 2. An unshakable life is built on the eternal, not the temporal. The word eternal means without beginning or end, existing forever, everlasting, infinite, immortal, imperishable, deathless, and durable. The amazing thing is this, many of us live for the temporary. What is temporary? Measured or limited by time, lasting only a brief period, pertaining to this life or world.
Yeah.
Anybody watch Bohemian Rhapsody? Anybody? Any Freddie Mercury fans? Even when I was a pastor, right? Don't tell my denomination. I love his songs. In the bathroom, I was singing, "We are the champions." I can't sing in church, right? We are the one fighting. We are. No, I'm singing. Another one bites the dust. Don't sing too loud. You'll defraud me. I love. This is an amazing singer. He said something about his life. So sad. So sad. So sad. A man that had 4 octaves, his voice,
Yeah.
that struggled so much in life, being made fun of because he was Indian, but African, and he was like, he didn't know his own identity.
Yeah.
And he just hated his buck teeth. And some of you will know what I'm talking about. But that helped him, in his expression of his voice, the teeth. This is what he says. The most important is to live a fabulous life. As long as it is fabulous, I don't care how long it is. He died a broken man. He saw nearly every one of his partners died of AIDS in his arms. In the end, right, with all the money that he only had one true love, the girl. He gave all his money to the girl. But he died. I saw a video of him in the last few months. You will never know that was Freddie Mercury. But he was a man that lived for the temporary. All he wants is to live a fabulous life. I don't care how long it is. Freddie Mercury. Honor him for his amazing singing ability. I love that song, that crazy thing called Love. I'll sing to my wife on every day. But that's your philosophy of life. But that's not mine. You know why? Because we have an eternal life. To live forever. Friends, if we have one life to live on this earth, that's it. Life will be miserable. But I thank God. And as I grow older especially, I look forward to my eternal home. I can't wait to hear my father saying, "Well done, thou good and faithful servant. You endured 24 years in nothing." Enter into the rest that has been prepared for you. But don't sacrifice temporary things for that which is eternal. Last and the final thing, number 3. I request the worship band to come in. An unshakable life is a life with a godly purpose. Somehow unshakable people have developed the ability to go in life even when everything turns sour in their life. If I have this microphone, Pastor Steve, I'm not going to do it, but if I have to have a 1-minute interview with every one of you that are here today, whether it's your first time, or you've been a Christian for 40 years, or you just joined the church, in fact, you're just transitory, just visiting. If I spend 1 minute with you and I say, "Sir, ma'am, auntie, uncle, pa," what else? Mas, pa, opa, oma, what else? Sir, whatever your title may be, superintendent. If I would ask you, all of you have a story to tell me, what you have gone through in life. But you are still here today in church. Some of you would have given up on your marriage years ago, but you decided to stay on. Some of you, your faith has been so shaken by what you have gone through, but you have endured on, man. Because an unshakable life is not just for the temporary. You have a godly purpose and a God-driven destiny. I was talking to a young pastor who was at the end of his, totally discouraged for whatever reason in church. I totally understand. And I gave him some understanding, some perspective of life. And he kept on telling me, "Well, Pastor, where will my destination be? Where will be the end? What will I do at the end?" I told him, "Young man, come on. Sometimes you don't have to think about the destination. Where will ISB Bali be? Will we grow to 1,000 members? Will it be 500? Will we do multilingual? Will we start a Tamil church, Indian church? Pastor Chris wants to come with me. Listen, I was telling that young man, guys, in thinking so much about your destination, you forget to enjoy the journey. Yeah. fly to the States from Kuala Lumpur. It's a 22-hour journey. Economy class. One day I'll do business, one day. So uncomfortable. I'm not going to complain 22 hours. But I hear the pilot over the phone, the PA telling, you can enjoy the journey, enjoy the facilities. Yeah, that's it, man. Whatever food available. I get to watch maybe about 7 movies. I don't even see 7 movies in 1 year. On the plane, I enjoy it for free. Love it. See it. I can pause, I can continue. It's fantastic, the new movie. And guess what? I'm enjoying the journey.
Yeah.
Before I reach the destination. Or shall I complain? 22 hours. Oh, it's so slow. Turbulence. What's going on? This city is so uncomfortable. And music wasn't very good, but he played well. You can complain all you want, but friends, just enjoy the journey. I told the young man, you don't know where you are going, but you are on something, right? Enjoy it. Just enjoy what God is doing in your life. Just enjoy it, friends.
Yeah.
An unshakable life. Have a godly purpose, godly different destiny. If you badger Pastor Steve, badger me, badger, what's going on? Well, we have no answer. We have no answer. But we have a solution. Different. And the solution is what? Jesus. Trust Him. He will never let you down. Let's see what other thoughts I have here. Because Pastor Steve has not given me a signal. Oh yeah, I love what Dr. Billy Graham said. He said something like this. Is it there? Alright. Dr. Billy Graham says, when wealth is lost, nothing is lost. When health is lost, something is lost. But when your character is lost, all is lost.
Amen.
Do you know what? Who we are is more important than what we have. Who you are is more important than what you have done.
Yes.
Good Father.
Yeah.
Loved by Him. It's who you are. Who you are. As I close this afternoon, it will be my evening, it will be my absolute honor to be able to pray for anyone that wants to start a brand new journey with God. See, some churches, right? I love to do altar calls. Some churches that I've been to, for them, altar calls like a walk of shame. Yes, I have sinned. Yes, and you walk, everyone's looking at you. In my church setup, it's a walk of fame. You are coming and you are like, yes, because the Bible says, Jesus says, when one person comes back to God, the whole of heaven throws a party.
Yeah, bro.
That's not what I say, right? That's what Jesus says.
Yeah.
Mount Sinai will say you don't deserve it. How dare you come into God's presence? How dare, don't you know that you are far away from God? How dare you lift up your hands in church? Oh man, Mount Sinai will like, come, joyful assembly of the saints.
Yeah, bro.
Come and find your reward. Come and get your life straightened out. Come and get your life changed. Then when you leave, you leave Mount Sinai judgmental, angry, miserable, but you leave Mount Zion full of faith, joy, knowing that an unshakable life is one with a purpose and a destiny. Somebody say amen?
Amen.
Can we all stand up together?